We talk to clients all the time that have this $10,000 budget in the Google grant, but for weeks, they aren't able to spend a dime. There are hidden blockers that almost every church account hits. Today, I'm going to show you how we unlock these in 48 hours, and you can too. Here's the kicker. If your keywords do not match your page content, there is a problem. For example, if you are just putting church versus church near me or church in Honolulu, you are going to get a bigger difference as far as the audience that you're going to reach. If we're being very specific on I'm trying to be a church in this community or in this city versus I'm just a church. Start with a high intent plan your visit page. On those pages, we're really focusing on come here, plan your visit, start here, frequently asked questions. This is who we are. This is what we're about. This is what you're going to see. Add some of those keywords into branching into felt needs, right? We're going to talk about how our church community can help you in your current situation, or if you're looking for answers, things like that. And normally you'll have those answers or some of those heavy hitter things on your landing page. Google's intent is that they want someone to search for something and then they land on a landing page that discusses what we're showing them. That is a good intent. That shows Google it's a high quality landing page because that person, that website user is going to convert. They're going to do the action item that we want them to do more often than if we just send them to some random page that is not talking about what our keywords are talking about. There is a rule in your grant account. You may not use single word keywords, but I see a lot of accounts that do. You can get away with it for a while, but I will tell you that the high intent of those is doing you a disservice. If you just have keywords in there that are just church or good church, those are not going to be high quality keywords. Those are not going to be good intentional keywords for getting people from a Google search onto your website to find out more about who you guys are. Yes, they might Google First Baptist Church of Austin. I drove by and saw a sign, but on average, most people are going to say church near me. They're going to be looking on their Google Maps to say, where am I right now and what can I find that's near me? That's the keywords that we want to really be focusing on. They're a little more broad, but they're really going to say, this is what I'm trying to find and where I'm trying to find it. After you get some information back and your ad's been running for a little while, you've got some impressions generating, go into your search terms report and you can start seeing what did people type in and how did that match? How did Google make that match into my ads? They're going to make more sense. They're going to be the ones that you really want to target and expand on. You might want to add some of those exact keywords into your account, whereas others, you might look at them and say, oh, these were broad match keywords and these are not getting me the audience that I want. So prune those off, cut them out, delete them. We don't want people Googling certain search terms if they're not going to get what they're looking for on our specific website. Keywords decide if Google even tries to show your ad. So you kind of have to work. Google does a good job of helping you, but you really do have to help Google at the same time. All right, geo-targeting is a really big deal. If we are a local church, there is no harm in targeting the entire United States or your entire state. But when your goal is butts in seats, we want visitors, we want foot traffic in the door. Obviously, they're starting online, right? Most people are not just going to see an ad and go, oh man, I want to run into this church building on Sunday. They're going to go to your website, dig around. That's what your website is for. We want to tell them what we're about. We want to tell them what to expect. But they might listen to an online sermon before they want to come into the building. Totally fine. But we want to make sure that we're targeting a proper area. We don't want to target really broad if we are saying we want people to be able to foot traffic into our building. Different areas are going to have different radiuses depending on your location. If you're in a really urban, if you're downtown and you would say, hey, people would drive, 20 miles or people might drive an hour based on your location. You can adjust your geo-targeting as you need to for your location. Make sure you focus on that and that you're looking at how far out you want to push those ads. The hidden switch of conversions. Conversions are a really big deal when it comes to your Google grant activity. There could be several accounts that have amazing websites. You might have the excellent ranking in your ads. If you don't have conversions tracking, your grant is going to sit there and potentially not do much. A lot of times we will just see when we take over accounts that conversions were not set up properly, or we might have really bad conversions. To clarify, a conversion is an action item that somebody or a user is going to do on your website. So good conversions would be that we're tracking when people are filling out a form. We have plan your visit forms on our website. We might have a contact form. If somebody can fill out a form and then get taken to a thank you page because your URL changes from fbc.org/prayer to fbc.org/thank you, that conversion can be tracked using Google tags that can be set up through analytics and Google Tag Manager. But if you don't have conversions placed, you will see that your grant will literally sit there. You might dribble in some impressions here and there, but you will definitely not hit your potential because Google isn't able to say that a user is doing anything, and that's exactly what Google wants to see. All right, ad copy and landing pages. Sentences don't look very good when you don't have enough meat on that page. So I always kind of tell clients, if you've got a page right now that needs extra help, go onto your website, find a page that has a sentence or two, and see if you can just expand that to make it 4 to 6 sentences, to make it a little meatier. Make sure that you're incorporating the keywords that you are adding into your grant or into your ads or some local targeting. Let's make sure that we're adding our city in there and saying who you are. Let's use the terminology, but we need to switch it around by also saying, here at New Hope Hawaii Kai, we believe blah, blah, blah. Or the vision of Austin Baptist Church is blah, blah, blah. Use your church name multiple times. Again, that kind of helps with local SEO, but you're also reverting back to letting Google know we are a church in this area. Make sure that your headlines include your city, like a benefit and a next step, right? So we really want to make sure that the flow of a landing page is a headline stating what is this section about, include the benefit or what you're talking about. So really it's making sure that you've got enough information, lead the people through your website so that they're getting to the right page and finding out all that they need to find out. If you've kind of done all the things we're talking about, you're working on content, you've got great landing pages, your keyword lists are pretty good, you've looked at your search terms, but let's just say you're still not spending enough. We're still not getting many impressions. We're just not getting any clicks. What do we do? For a church or any type of organization where you're using religious terms, you are going to have a policy flag. It's going to potentially say that your ads are limited. Some of these are just general flags that they put on accounts because if you're advertising in other countries, it's an automatic flag. So a lot of them don't necessarily apply to the United States, but if you're a nonprofit and we're targeting the regionally or even globally, you are potentially going to have some extra flags. If you're a church and you've got a Celebrate Recovery group, you might get a flag on because we're talking about alcohol addiction or things like that. So pay attention to your flags. A lot of them are approved, but we'll say limited. That doesn't always affect ads. If you are getting any flags for policies that we're breaking, such as addiction or alcohol, anything like that, health-related things, housing, they have some pretty interesting flags on some of your accounts. It may just be that a keyword slipped in there that we can take out so that the flag can get removed. If your CTR health is really low, rewrite your ad. We want that ad to be at least good or excellent health. If it is poor or average, Google's kind of telling you right there, you can do some work. It's not that hard to get your ad to a good or excellent standpoint, which means if it's not good, you need to change your keywords. It'll give you some hints as you walk in there. Add some more descriptions, use keywords in your headlines and descriptions. Those things can really help as well. Your geo-targeting might be too wide or it might be too narrow. If you're doing like a 40-mile radius around your church or in your city and you're not getting impressions or clicks, expand that to 60 miles, let that sit for a couple weeks, see if that generates some juice. You can always back that down. You don't have to stay there. But sometimes if we start out in this really narrow hole and we're saying, hey, we're only targeting this small little area, it's just not enough to generate your ads to even get shown here initially. So let's broaden that out and then we can kind of narrow that back in a couple weeks. You also might have a landing page mismatch. So if you are sending ads to certain pages on your website that Google kind of says this isn't that great or this match isn't the best landing page experience, that's going to potentially hurt you. So make sure that you kind of do some A/B testing. Use the same ad and push it to your homepage and then push it to a specific landing page where you are attempting to send that content and just see which one performs better. You actually might be surprised. Sometimes it's actually the page that you didn't think was going to be as good that actually actually performs better because it either has a better flow, maybe it has some more calls to action that can be conversions. We never know. But give it a try, do some A/B testing, and just make sure that you're at least allowing Google to get that learning algorithm out of the way and say what's going to work better for this account. Everything takes a little bit of time. Keep in mind that learning phase is about 2 weeks. So anytime you set up a new account, or if you make a new campaign, some new ad groups, your account will go into a learning phase all over again. It's going to take Google at least 2 weeks to figure out what are your ads about, where are you sending the people, what is the website content about, and do its job. So patience is going to be key. Feel free to schedule a grant audit call with me. I'm happy to look at the account you've set up and see if there's any glaring mistakes or tips that I can give you. Every week, we at Reach Right share ways to help you and your church reach more people. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video.